Hello and welcome to my 517 Follow Friday series. Today I am joined by Lysne Tait from Helping Women Period. Helping Women Period is a local nonprofit and their mission is to provide no-cost menstrual products to those experiencing homeless or low-income disparity. Lysne, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So you established Helping Women Period in 2015. And I'm just curious, was there a defining moment that led to that, or what caused you to take this path?
So I always call Helping Women Period accidental nonprofit because we really didn't mean to start a nonprofit at all. My friend Amy Stevenson and I saw an article in Facebook in January 2015, and it was about the lack of product for homeless women. And we were shocked because we had given cereal, we'd given soup to food banks. We'd never thought about pads and tampons. And we kind of assumed that SNAP or WIC or some other government program would cover these things. I mean, women, infants, and children, you'd think they'd cover pads and diapers and formula, and they only cover formula. And so we thought we needed to do something. Our plan was to invite 30 of our closest friends and have breakfast, tell them about what was going on and ask for some donations and buy a couple cases on Amazon for Haven House in Ann Arbor, the homeless shelter. And we put it on Facebook on a Sunday. On Tuesday, we had to change the venue because there were 100 people who wanted to come, not 30. And on Thursday of that week, we filed nonprofit paperwork because we had people from all over the world who wanted to send us money, and we wanted to be as transparent as possible. And we didn't realize it was such a need, and we struck a chord. So we did. We had our breakfast. We raised about $4,000, and then we decided we didn't want to send all our money, to Amazon. We wanted to keep it in our community because that's why we were doing it. We love our community.
Right.
So we found a local janitorial supply company, Mishko, and he had a daughter, and he's like, I can't imagine her not, going without when she needed it. And he said, I'll sell it to you at cost as long as you buy 100 cases at a time. And 100 cases was just $4,000. So we're like, sweet, here we go. So we bought 100 cases, and then we only had two. Advent House only had room for two. So we had them in our kitchen, our living rooms, and our cars. My kids had to push them out of the way so they could get in the car to school, And then the other thing we did really intentionally is we were looking for, we didn't have any experience with our client, our target market. So we thought, instead of being another set of hands reaching out saying, let me help you, because we imagined that it would be very overwhelming. We thought, well, we'll just partner with these groups that already have established relationships. So we started working with food banks and domestic violence shelters and homeless shelters, the Women's Center of Greater Lansing, places like that. So we did that, and now here we are. It's been 8 years. The first year we probably distributed 33,000 pads and tampons. And in 2022, we distributed 1.14 million pads and tampons and bladder control pads. But we had 16 partners that first year, and now we have over 200, and we're in 30 counties.
Oh my gosh. That is just amazing. So it all started with a breakfast, and it just exploded from there.
Yep. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. So I am curious about, you mentioned just this very logical, in my opinion, very logical assumption that these products would be covered. So menstrual products are not covered by SNAP or other welfare benefits. I was reading an article from University of Michigan, their public health school, the School of Public Health or something, that said roughly, and this was from a couple of years ago, but 1 in 5 girls skip school or miss school because they just don't have products. And it really blows my mind that this is a problem. So I'm just curious, is there anything that you've done in the past or anything right now that you're doing more from a legislative perspective? Is there anything that we're doing to try to change these rules?
Mhm. Yep. So now, like the most recent data is 1 in 4 kids miss school in Michigan, um, because they don't have the product they need when they need it. And
Right.
that's a lot of missed education. And you think about COVID, and they were out of school for so long, and then now here they have that. The other thing about education and periods, like when my daughter was in junior high, if she had a surprise period, she'd have to talk to her teacher, to the
Mm-hmm.
principal, the principal's office, and then go to the counseling office to get free product. Or they would have a machine in the bathroom and it would cost 35 cents. And I don't know the last time I had a quarter and a dime at the same
Right.
time. So, and that's like just more time to take out of the class day to take care of
Yeah.
yourself. A lot of these passing times are 5 minutes, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not enough time.
Yep.
Not enough time to take care of yourself and not be late or anything
Mm-hmm.
else. So I am working with legislators to try and get free products in schools right now. I've talked to a couple of senators and a couple of um, representatives. I found out, I figured out that if we wanted to cover free products for all kids who are free and reduced lunch in the state of Michigan, it would only cost us $5 million. So that's 9 months of period products, for, you know, whatever I can't remember the numbers right now, but it was about 5 million. So we'll see, and that's not for like free products for everyone in the schools. That's just for the ones
Right.
to take home.
Right.
A lot of other states have been doing um, free products for everyone, like $3 per student. That covers about a period. $3 per student. Or I don't know. There's all sorts of different ways to try and deal with it. And I think this is a really important part. Like we give pads and tampons, and that's a symptom. We're
Mm-hmm.
solving a symptom, but the actual root cause is lack of education. It's our puritanical roots. Like we don't talk about that stuff. It's period
Yep.
stigma. It's poverty stigma. Um, when you have a period, nobody knows, right? Unless you
Right.
bleed or whatever. I think you don't turn purple or anything, and that would be very helpful, right? Because then you could. But so nobody talks about it normally.
No.
And then if you don't have the product that you need, you're going to be embarrassed. Because there's this assumption that you can take care of yourself.
Yep.
And if you are in high school and you have parents who are trying to decide between pads and tampons and macaroni and cheese, you do what you can with what you
Yep.
have. And there's a real danger in that because some people use things that aren't meant to be used for period products. T-shirts, socks, they'll wear what they have for longer than medically
Right.
suggested. So that leads to infection. And then they become drained, like it becomes a drain because if you can't afford period products, your insurance is probably not the greatest. And
Yep.
so you'll use the emergency room for your doctor's office. And then, it just keeps tumbling.
Right. There's this whole element of dignity too. You made me think of what it was like when I was in high school, and you were talking about, the little quarter, 35
Yeah.
cents or whatever. Aside from having to pay for that, the products, I don't know what they're like now, but the products then were not good. I remember it was this running joke that the pads in the machines in the high school bathrooms were like phone books. And it was so embarrassing to have
Yeah.
to use them because they were so thick and uncomfortable. And, I don't remember ever going without, maybe in a pinch I had to grab one at school, but I cannot imagine what that does to a girl psychologically to just to
Yeah.
not be comfortable. It's not, no one deserves that.
Well, and all of us who've had a period know that sinking feeling, right? Like
Mhm.
I don't like my period started and I'm in the middle of, I'm in public and where am I going to go and what am I going to do? And I think that's one of the things that has helping women period be successful because so many people know that feeling or they
Mhm.
love people who've had a period, and they don't want them to have to go through that.
Right.
Uh, yeah, it's so frustrating. And
Do
yeah.
you do you feel like as the organization has grown, do you feel that people are getting more comfortable talking about the need? And are you finding that more people are willing to volunteer and donate as the years go on?
Yeah, yeah. At first, I thought it was because I'm involved in this world all the time, like when you learn a new word and you see it everywhere.
Yep.
But I think when we started, 2015 was the beginning of this big wave of talking about periods and bringing it to the forefront. And, everybody knows about Scotland now that they have free products, and
Mhm.
New Zealand is working on it. Um, and our kids, like teens and college students, are so open about
Mhm.
talking about. Like, I would have
Yep.
never talked to a legislator when I was 18 about my period. And when
No.
we helped get rid of the tampon tax a couple of years ago, we took some students with us to talk to legislators, and they were very open and clear about what they needed and what. And so I'm just like, I know every generation says this next generation is going to save us, but they will.
Right. No, I
That's
totally agree. What about from the perspective of the people who are in need? Do you feel like it is still difficult for them to come forward, whether it's for themselves or a loved one, and ask for help and accept those donations?
um there's still some hesitancy. We do 2 food banks a month, 2 mobile food banks. So the people drive through and they get their food, and then we're at the end and we say pads or tampons. And a lot of times it takes them a while to register what we just asked them.
Right.
And there's still some guys who will be driving and they're like, I don't even want to touch it. And I'm like, it's not dirty. It's not.
Right.
So we're trying really hard to work on the education part.
Mhm.
Um, we have a table we take to different places, and it's our menstrual product petting zoo. And so we have menstrual cups and menstrual discs and reusable period underwear and reusable pads. And we've taken it to a touch a truck event, we've taken it to the women's expo, and just kind of explained to people, here are some reusable options.
Mhm.
Um, Here's how you use them. None of our mothers use those things. So it's not it's new and it's kind of
Right.
scary, and they look weird. And people don't believe that the period underwear will really work. And
Mhm.
so like that's what we do, is we try and teach people how this product works. And we don't even sell that stuff. We don't give that away
Right.
unless we have it, but we just are trying to teach people how to find out more.
Right. Yeah, you guys were at the Women's Expo with Katie,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
what she's doing is just phenomenal. I love her so much. I swear you guys were right next to Cabela's.
we
What
were.
was it, the
We were.
Cabela's table? I just thought that was so fitting. They can't avoid you.
Nope.
They they can't do that at all. But I thought that was really great. I loved your guys' setup. Um, there is the Touch a Truck coming event coming up in June. I don't know if you guys are going to be there again. I'm actually sponsoring that event, so you should
Oh, are you?
definitely come. I am. I'd love to see you guys out there. Uh, what are some ways? I know there's a lot of ways for people to get involved. I saw you guys participate in the Amazon Smile. I didn't know that people could host their own supply drives, and I know you guys have donation boxes, but if you had to pick one or two, what do you think is the most impactful way that people can get involved?
So money is great. We
Yep.
because we work with the janitorial supply company, we can provide one person's menstrual needs for an entire year for $40, which is amazing because
Crazy.
like a
Yeah.
box of tampons is 10. So
Yeah.
um that's always great. We can make money go a long ways. We
Right.
love product donations.
Mhm.
Um, we love people make bags for us, like they sew bags so that we can hand things out discreetly. That's
Mhm.
awesome too. There's a place on our website to find out what, like a pattern. Um, but really the most impactful is sharing, like talking about
Okay.
what we do and sharing our social media posts and bringing it up. If somebody says something. Like, I don't know, there's this whole thing in Idaho, and one of the legislators said that talking about periods was too woke. And like hearing that periods are becoming political is ridiculous. I mean, like everyone has one. Like
Right.
you're not exempt if you're for a different party. And so I think mostly like talking about it is the big
Hmm.
thing. And the more we can get rid of the stigma, the sooner I can be out of a job, because that's really,
Right.
really, that's really what I want. I would
Right.
love to have legislation to provide free products in schools, in
Hmm.
public places. I mean, there's a couple cities that have done that. East Lansing has done that, Ann
Yeah.
Arbor, Novi. So we're working on that. There's also a bill in the federal government, like in the US Senate, called the Period Product Equity or Period, the Menstrual Equity Act for All. And
Okay.
that is also trying to get free products in schools and free products in
Okay.
public spaces. And so we're just trying to attack it on all the levels so that somehow, some way we can get
Right.
this taken care of, because it's a solvable problem.
It
Like
is.
I don't want my nonprofit to go on forever because we can solve it.
Right.
Then we can go do other things,
Right. There are so
solve
many other
other
needs out
problems.
there. Right.
Right.
So, from a supply perspective, is there any specific type of supply that you don't tend to get enough of? So I'm thinking
Um,
like light versus super tampons or, anything like that. Is there any focus there that is being unmet?
so right now, tampons are they've been really difficult to get.
Okay.
I've ordered from two different places, my regular supplier and a more expensive supplier. And my regular ones are back ordered until June. And
Okay.
so, I mean, like that's been kind of a difficult spot. Luckily we've been very fortunate to partner with a couple big companies like Honeypot and
Oh,
You Buy
okay.
Kotex. So we had two semi trucks last year full of product, and they're only pads, so
Okay.
we're still distributing those. But I mean, it's anything, because when we do our bulk orders, they're just regular pads, they're just regular tampons. We don't do anything else. So that when people donate product to our drop boxes, or it's nice because we have a little more variety.
Okay.
So
Okay. That's good to know.
yeah.
So other than monetary donations, which you said, that goes further than actually donating product, are there any other really big needs right now that the organization has?
The other thing is we love volunteers.
Okay.
Um, so right now we distribute to all those different groups that we partner with, our charity partners. And like yesterday, I drove to Grand Rapids and with a truck full of product for 3 deliveries. And we also have deliveries around town. So it's always having somebody who is interested in picking up a delivery and dropping it off. That would be great.
Okay.
We do those food banks,
Hmm.
second Saturday and third Saturday of every month. And we are outside handing product out for those. I mean, it's about 2 hours, 3 hours in whatever weather. So sometimes it's a little more fun than others, but
Hmm.
so we're always looking for people to do that. And we have other things so people can put product into bags so that we can hand them out.
Hmm.
That's something they can do at home. Or we've had a couple groups get together and do, like they have a meeting, they'll get together and they'll do a couple hundred bags of pads or tampons during the meeting, just because it's a very
Okay.
mindless kind of thing to do. You count
Yeah.
10 or 20 and put it in, and that's it. So,
Okay. All right. And then Menstrual Awareness Day is coming up at the end of May. I didn't know if there was anything you wanted to share about that.
May is Menstrual Health Month, because and then May 28th is the Menstrual Health Day. So it's most periods are like an average of 5 days long. So that's why they chose the fifth month. And there's 28 days in the cycle. So that's why they chose the 28th. This is an international kind of celebration, just talking about the period. We'll have some things on our Facebook and our Instagram accounts and our website um,
Okay.
to talk more about it. But it's a great time to think about, how can you spread the word? Like if you follow
Right.
our social media, helping women period, we're there.
Okay.
So
All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. This has been very informative, and you're just such a fun person to talk to.
oh, thank you. It's been really, I love talking about this. Like this is the best part of my job.
Well, we don't want this part to go away, so we'll have to find something else for you to do when we tackle this one. So,
Exactly.
okay. Well, I will share all of the contact information for Helping Women Period in the caption of this video. If you know anyone who's experiencing poverty and could benefit from these services, or if you're interested in donating or volunteering, please reach out. And then if you're interested in being featured on my Follow Friday series, you can email me at Katrina@cornerstonelegalplc.com. Thanks for watching.